In the lead up to this week, 49ers versus Chiefs, we understand how big of a game this is. And we've been talking back and forth about like what this means and obviously speculating from the 49ers perspective. And when we say 49ers perspective, we're talking about the players, how the players view this game. Because as we know, anyone who has been on the San Francisco 49ers since Kyle Shanahan is 0-4 versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And that means everyone. The longest tenured player on this team currently right now is Kyle Juszczyk, and he came over with Kyle. So everyone on this roster who is, whether you've been here for a short term or the long term, you have not beaten the Kansas City Chiefs. So when we talk about this game and what it means and kind of the emotional kind of situation behind it, it's been speculative. So being able to hear from Deebo Samuel and George Kittle on the matter, I think is fantastic. And they seem to be very open with what this game means and how important it is. And man, really not shying away from the fact that they've never beaten the Chiefs. Take a listen to what they have to say right here.
Let's address it.
We got the Chiefs coming this week.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
Elephant in the room.
Me, sure. Me too, for sure. I don't think I've beat them since.
I beat them my very first preseason game ever, and I didn't play in it in my rookie season.
I don't think I ever beat them, but
I'm over.
I'm over too. We both over.
The Niners are over.
Yeah, for sure. But
it is what it is.
It's gonna be an outstanding matchup. They undefeated, I think, still.
Yeah, they're undefeated.
Playing at a high level. Niners playing at a high level.
Yeah.
I think it's a great matchup.
I mean, Mahomes is Mahomes.
Yeah, for sure.
He's amazing.
Can't argue that.
Kelsey just decided to get really hot like the last 2 weeks.
I know,
too.
bro.
I know. So
that's your guy.
Travis is amazing. Yeah, I love Trav. But so they've got that working out. They've got some major injuries on their team too, which is but they're still finding ways to win. And that's the hardest thing in the NFL is finding ways to win. Anytime you have Mahomes and Kelsey, though, you're probably going to find a way to win. And then I would also say this is probably the best defense we've gone against this season. Like that's what we've talked about already in our tight end room, and they have a lot of really good playmakers out there. Chris Jones is an absolute monster,
definitely,
and can't leave him one-on-one. Like he's going to probably get an Aaron Donald treatment where you just always slide to him, get 4 hands on him 24/7. Yeah, I mean I can't wait. Like these are the games that you play football for. This is what it's a game of the week. You got Tom Brady talking about it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
deal.
Yeah, it's gonna be really fun.
Your team captain had this to say about the matchup this morning.
Fred Warner?
Yep. The Chiefs are undefeated this year and still at the top of their game.
Yep, they are.
Still got 15 back there. I have yet to beat him. I have played against him maybe 4 times now and have yet to beat him. I think it's an important game for us to try and get over that hump and get the win.
I'm definitely with Fred on this. Like I just said,
that's a good quote.
I haven't beat him either. But 15 is a heck of a player. At any moment he's liable to do anything possible, and it's like I don't like referring back to Super Bowls, but rookie year we up and Pat Mahomes just go do things Pat
Crazy
Mahomes
stuff.
does, and the 2-minute drill in this past Super Bowl is just Pat Mahomes doing Pat Mahomes things. But you got to give him his flowers, man.
Yeah.
You got to give him to him.
100%.
When you have 3 Super Bowl wins.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
There's no argument.
No, not an argument.
There's really zero.
There's no
argument
argument at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
he's great. So Fred mentioned getting over the hump.
Sure.
What's it going to take to get over the hump? You guys mentioned you're over. You're over.
Yeah, for sure.
How do we stop being over?
Don't turn the ball over on offense.
When we don't turn the ball over and play sound on offense and defense is clicking the way it's supposed to be clicking,
every game I've played the Chiefs, we've had 1 to multiple turnovers against them. And so it's just
over, I feel like we.
You gotta, and it might be the most important thing, control the clock, try to give their offense as limited amount of time with the ball as possible, because sure, you can get them, they could have a 1-yard run, an incomplete pass, 3rd and 9, but that's not hard for them at the same time. They have the amount of concepts they had, the amount of freedom that Kelsey has. They'll call plays where the wide receivers are running outside comebacks, and hey Kelsey, you have a basic, but depending on the coverage, you can run 10-yard thing, a 12-yard out, a 6-yard sit. You can do whatever you want to do.
Their chemistry is.
Yeah, it's just that. It's hard to play. It's hard to game plan chemistry.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And
for sure.
I've always said too. It's I don't know. I love Travis. I love when he has awesome games. I never want him to play well against us though. And I think he would. I think he would say the same thing to me.
Yeah, of course.
But it's I watched what the Patriots used to do with Bill Belichick. They would just line up a guy straight up on him, chip the heck out of him. So every time he tried to release, he'd have to beat a defensive lineman, and then they'd have a guy covering him. And then like most of the times you play the Patriots, he'd have like 40 to 60 yards. It's like limit Travis and then try to make everyone else beat you.
So personally, what do you each want to? Because again, I know that you both hold yourselves to the highest of standards every week. It's not like you treat this one game differently, but in order to get over that hump, what are each one of you personally going to do in this game differently than you have in the past times that you've played this team?
I feel like me personally got to hone in on the details because week in and week out, like the playbook gets bigger and bigger. Plays get lengthier and lengthier.
Very
and
dense.
Like, yeah. And just hone in on the details and be exactly where you need to be and be decisive and things like that. And then when the ball's in your hands, just go do what we do and don't hesitate.
Yeah. I'm excited. Like, I'm actually healthy this year as opposed to like I was pretty banged up in the Super Bowl. So like I'm very excited to like play like in a big game like this and actually be pretty healthy. So I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. So you guys, I think you're ready.
No, we always ready now.
I think, well,
We-
yes, of course.
I like
Of course.
Me and Deebo have been really good friends forever because like we both love football and like everything that goes into it, like whether it's wins or losses, or, like the practices, like we just enjoy ball. And like we play a kids game, and so like getting to play a kids game in front of millions of people, let alone at home in Levi Stadium with fans who love the 49ers, it's pretty easy to get up for those.
So again, we've been talking about this quite a bit. And it was actually interesting to hear Steve Young talk about this on KMBR last night because, Tolbert, one of the hosts on KMBR, was like, this game doesn't mean anything. It's not going to change anything. It's not going to all of a sudden bring you a Super Bowl. And I think it's an important to differentiate that we understand that this game isn't going to change anything in regards to all of a sudden we now have a sixth ring. All of a sudden we've won the Super Bowl. That's not at all what is being discussed. I think with how to contextualize this game, it's again getting over the mountaintop. You have this team that is like this wall that has been in front of you and you haven't been able to beat. And you hear both George Kittle and Deebo Samuel talk about it. They're over. They haven't been able to do it. And again, they're just talking about all the different things, and you hear them talking about the Super Bowl, and you hear them. This is a big time game for the San Francisco 49ers, not because it's the 6-0 Chiefs. Obviously, that is already known. It's the best team right now, record-wise. Obviously, we understand the Vikings are also undefeated, but right now that they're at the top of the league, and their record is what it is, and that tells you who this team is. So the 49ers have not only a challenge of playing Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid and Steve Spagnuolo and everything else that comes along with that, and that the defense is really underrated. I really do think that is a huge reason why they are 6-0 currently right now, is because of their defense and how well they are not only coached but how well they play. So you hear them talk about the importance of it. You hear them talk about, man, Kittle's like, I'm healthy for the first time playing the Chiefs. And, Deebo's talking about, I got to lock in on the details and all the small things, which I think is right up Deebo's alley. And because we know when Deebo gets the ball in his hands, he's a monster. He just turns into another level, turns into another gear. And so with this game against the Chiefs, there is I don't even know how to properly quantify it. It's almost like a spiritual thing. It's like a internal thing. It's a mental thing. This game presents obviously a lot of physical challenges, but I think the biggest challenge comes from the mental aspect of it. And you hear that's what they're talking about. They're talking about those things. And I really do think that the San Francisco 49ers, you hear Fred talk about it. We heard Trent talk about it. This is a game that means a lot to them, not just because you're playing the Chiefs, not just because you're playing Patrick Mahomes, because this is a team that has had your number. And I do think that is an important aspect of this game and this matchup. I really, really do. I don't think it should be downplayed. I think that is a massive component to this game. And I do think that Deebo, I do think that George, I do think that Fred, and I do think Trent Williams, the leaders in this locker room, have all indicated that. So I love what they had to say. I thought it was great insight. I shout out to Deebo, a phenomenal guest, and George Kittle. I feel like the pod was flowing really well. It was a good listen. Definitely go check it out on Bleacher Report's channel if you want to listen to the whole thing. But let me know what you guys think about this again, because we've been hitting home on this all week, and we've gotten some differentiating opinions on it. But after hearing these guys, I again feel more confident in my read on this than I have, since the start of the week. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.